Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Games. Today I'm going to be talking about a new game called Bonnie Bear Saves Frogtime. This game was released on March 16th, 2026. Its regular price is $17.99 Canadian, or your regional equivalent, and it's developed by, and I apologize for the pronunciation here, Bonte Vond Games, and published by Off-Brand Games. This is, as the Steam page says, a frog-obsessed comedy adventure featuring tactical frog battles, bizarre quests, and the mother of all frogs, the Mother Frogger. This is such a weird game. It's really, really good, but it is very, very strange. I wasn't familiar with Bonte Vond. It looks like on Steam they've got two other games. Back in 2021 they had a game called Everybody Wham Wham, and then a year later they had a game called Once Upon a Jester. And I took a look at the screenshots for both those games, and the art style and the bizarreness is definitely there. Very, very similar art style and sense of humor as Bonnie Bear. Bonnie Bear Saves Frogtime is a little bit Night in the Woods-y, just from the art style and like the speech bubbles. Looks a little bit like Night in the Woods. It's got the quirky millennial kind of humor, but it's also very laced with Dutch humor, I think. The dev team is Dutch, and they do the majority of the voice acting in this game. And so somebody asked a question on the Steam forums and was like, are the voices AI? Sometimes like the intonation's a bit weird. And one of the developers responded and they were like, no AI used, we're just Dutch. And speaking of the voice acting, I've got to say, it is absolutely hilarious. They leave all the bloopers and mistakes into the voice lines. So like, the whole thing's voiced, which is incredible for such a reasonably priced game. But, you'll see like a speech bubble of what one of the characters is saying. But if the voice line has like a mistake in it and they like laugh, they like stumble over their words and start again, they'll just leave the whole thing in there, which I think is, once or twice, that would be like, oh, that's a stupid mistake to make. Like, how could you do that? But it happens, like, pretty much constantly, and it is just very charming and very funny when you're just hearing the people doing the voice lines, clearly having such a fun time voicing these voicing the silly script in silly voices.
I have to start making preparations. This is huge. Huge, I tell you. Everyone, meet me at my house. Meet me at my house tomorrow.
Yeah, that stuck out to me so much that all the bloopers are in there, and I loved that as a feature. It's very, very story-driven and character-driven. Again, a bit like Night in the Woods, but it does also have this battling minigame called Frogtime throughout the game. So it's not entirely just moving your character around and going through dialogue like Night in the Woods was. You'll periodically have to play the Frogtime game. And I was trying to describe this game to my girlfriend, and I said it's a little bit like Yu-Gi-Oh!, where inexplicably everybody puts a huge amount of emphasis on this Frogtime game. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, obviously all the big decisions and major plot points are done through dueling your opponent. Yugi literally saves the world multiple times by just playing a children's card game, and Frogtime is kind of the same. Right at the start of the game, you get an item stolen from you from Bonnie Bear, and in order to get it back, you gotta win a game of Frogtime. So you obviously play as the titular Bonnie Bear. Bonnie Bear is a bear in a frog costume, and you pick this up over the game, but it's like hinted at through dialogue, like right at the start. But Bonnie's obviously been going through a bit of a tough time recently, and the Steam page even says that one of the features is at least 12 heartfelt moments about the importance of community and what it means to have self-worth. And so right at the start of the game, you're Bonnie, you've literally shut yourself up in your house for quite a long time. But your friends throw you a surprise Bear Day party, they give you a nice present, and this really sets Bonnie on their journey of discovering having self-worth, as the store page says. And whenever Bonnie wins a certain number of Frogtime games, they will level up, but the levels aren't just level 1, level 2, they're self-worth level 1, level 2. So as you play the game, you're literally seeing Bonnie's self-worth increase. So yeah, Bonnie's friends throw them a surprise Bear Day party, and they give Bonnie their first toadbag, which is a set of frogs that Bonnie can now begin playing Frogtime with. And the Frogtime game is very fun. Basically, you and your opponent stand on opposite sides. You've got this grid in front of you, which is made up of 3 rows and a varying number of columns. And you put 3 frogs down on the field each, and you just have to move your frogs to the other side of the board. And when one of your frogs crosses right into the opponent's zone, you'll do a specific amount of damage to their hit points. So right at the start of the game, most of your frogs do 1 damage, and like the very early encounters, your opponents have 3 health, so you just gotta move 3 frogs over and do the 3 damage. It gets a little bit harder later in the game. Throughout the game, you can get these booster eggs, which will give you a random frog that you can add to your deck. You can have, I'm pretty sure it was 8 frogs in your deck. When you open a pack and get a 9th one, you have to choose if you want to throw the new one away or if you want to throw a frog from your deck away. And you can't, there's no storage for your frogs or anything, so you do have to make sure you're okay with throwing away something. There's specific kinds of frogs. I ended up doing a jumping frog deck, where my whole deck was based around getting frogs in position where they could do double jumps over and reach the opponent's side faster. But there are I think there's like 5 or 6 different, I don't know, like genres of frog, I guess. I just went for the jumping ones because they seemed pretty good and they got me through the game. But you can go for like bee frogs, you can go for like other weird effect frogs, and you just get booster eggs depending on which kind of frogs you want. As well as their very first toad bag, Bonnie Bear also receives a mysterious shell, which is the item that is stolen from Bonnie by Ricksbeck. Great character, all the characters are great. And this basically sets Bonnie off on a quest to collect 3 more of these shells once they get the pink shell back from Ricksbeck. Basically, the friend group tries to examine the pink shell, and An, who is a pineapple, gets sucked into it. And so Bonnie has to go and find the other 3 shells so they can go into the shell world and rescue their friend An. So the game really is just going from area to area, you know, just following the story, doing the quests, and battling other people through Frogtime battles. It's quite a simple premise, I guess, but it's so bizarre. I mean, you do so many weird things. You find a group of vampires who are having a sledding contest because they're vampire slayers. Very funny. You break into a beehive to get a shell that's hidden in there, and you have to disguise yourself as a bee. All the character designs are just unhinged. The whole game is so bizarre, but it really was very, very fun to play through. At the time of recording, I played 8 hours, and I just ran the credits on the game. Probably a little bit of that was idling, but yeah, I think you'd really be looking for about 7 to 8 hours to finish the game. You can absolutely take longer if you decide partway through that you want to kind of pivot from whatever frogs you were using before to like a completely different kind of frog. It'll probably take you a little bit longer because you'll need the currency to get specific booster eggs to get new kinds of frogs. I just stuck with kind of the one I used most of the game, so I didn't have to really try and unlock new frogs, and like I said, it got me through the whole game, even though some of the last 2 battles were quite difficult and a little bit frustrating. A good number of the Steam reviews seem to be quite a bit longer. Most of them are around 11 to 13 hours, and then one of them is 30 hours, so that's pretty impressive. But yeah, if you're just doing the main story pretty much, you can look at about 8 hours, I'd guess. Even 8 hours for this very fun, fully voiced game, 18 bucks Canadian, is a great deal, honestly. If you've got the other 2 games, there's a Complete Your Collection bundle on Steam. I'm kind of tempted to pick it up and play the other 2, because it was a very, very funny game. So obviously, because kind of the main part of the game, apart from the Frogtime, is the story, I can't talk too much more about it. I personally would recommend it. You know, I loved Night in the Woods. I do like quirky, kind of character-driven story games like this. So this was definitely up my alley. For some reason, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be like a detective game, like Frog Detective or something. No idea why I thought that, because it's really nothing like that. It is more like Night in the Woods meets Yu-Gi-Oh! Bizarrely. But yeah, if you're looking for just a funny game with a surprisingly strong tactical mini game in it, I would recommend it. After I got the credits, the characters were talking about that they basically added a battle tower. So I think I can kind of do like free play Frogtime now if I want, which is great. You can just keep playing the mini game if you want, because I feel like it'd be a waste if you couldn't, because it is a very, very fun game. There you go, that was a look at Bonnie Bear Saves Frogtime. I recommend it. I think it was very, very fun and quirky and challenging, but satisfying to play Frogtime. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!